dealer nearest you.
Under the lights for the first time in Memphis, Tennessee in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series O'Reilly 200, getting close to conclusion. Out front of this field is Ron Hornaday.
I tell you, the race fans have really come out to support this night race in Memphis. This is by far the best crowd we've ever had for a truck race. I've been here for the last 4 races prior to this year, and this crowd, I guarantee, is at least 40-50% bigger than any other crowd we've ever had here.
Great crowd on hand to watch Ron Hornaday somewhat dominate the latter end of this race. We'll see if he's got what it takes. Ray, do you think he's got it all the way to the end?
Well, he should, Rick. And, of course, this team knows for sure that they've had 3 or 4 of them get away from this year. Rogers was on the radio talking to Hornaday, and he said, "How's your truck?" Hornaday said, "It's pretty good, but it feels like my lap times have dropped off a little bit." And Wally said, "Well, let me give you a little math lesson. If you run really fast laps, that way this race will get over quicker, and we can go to victory lane and get you a cold drink." So he said, just run fast laps, and you won't have to worry about it.
Our next racetrack will be another short track race, and that's IRP. Short track racing continues. The oval track. That's race 15 of 25. Last year it was Chad Chaffin who was able to claim the top spot. It will be the Power Stroke Diesel 200. We'll see if Ford could get a victory there for Terry Cook.
Always exciting races. Always exciting races at IRP.
That's Friday, August 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on Speed Channel.
The 46F Dennis Setzer has been complaining that the changes they made on the stop didn't really help. He's been tight early through the center. Crew Chief Eric Phillips just told him that to save your stuff, do what you can with what you have. The same reports coming from David Rudiman. He's been free, though, and the changes that they made on their pit stop also did not help all that much. So the 17 and the 46 are going to have to deal with what they have. And Ray, what do you have on your end of pit road?
Well, Wendy, I want to add on the 38 of Brandon Witt. I'll tell you what, this kid has really done a great job winning the pole tonight. They've run up front most of the day, but I'll tell you, it's agonizing listening to him on the radio right now because he is really in some very serious pain from that heat I told you about earlier in his seat. His seat is literally just about on fire. They gave him a bag of ice, but as you guys in the booth can attest to, sometimes that's not always so great because once that ice melts, you've just got a wet seat, and he is really, really in bad shape. I will not be surprised if Brandon Witt needs some emergency medical attention when this race is over, but what a great job he's doing hanging in there in third.
Ray, you're exactly right, because I tell you, if your seat starts burning you or the floor starts burning your feet, there's nothing you can do about it because that seat is built for Brandon Witt. It fits around him, Brandon Witt. He cannot move anywhere. As Ray mentioned, you put ice down your back. Well, eventually that's going to melt and it turns into steam, which makes things worse. It's very temporary relief. So I'm sure Brandon Witt right now is in agonizing pain, but he's got such a good truck. He's got such a great run going that he doesn't want to give it up. We've only got 40-some laps to go, but we saw Ricky Rudd win a race back in Martinsville, and he had to pretty much be taken out on a stretcher after that race for the same situation. But you see, there's the seat. You see the headrest right around David Rudiman. So these seats are custom built for all these drivers. There's not any extra room. You cannot move around, slide around to try to get a different position. You're where you are when you start the race.
And the worst thing you can do when you have a hot seat, you think you want to pour water down your back, but it's the worst thing you can do because that water just boils. You see your butt's like bacon just burning in the seat. But the hardest time is under yellow. Once they go green, I don't think he'll think about it anymore. And there's only 40 laps to go, and he's got a fast truck, and he'll be fine.
We say that now. We hope he's fine as Brandon Witt holding on to the third spot. It's Ron Hornaday, the master of restarts.
Green.
Taking off as the green flag flies. Oh, something on the David Rudiman. Problems with the 17 of David Rudiman not coming up to speed very quickly.
It looked like he might have missed a gear or something.
Sure did look like he missed a gear because he's back up to speed now, but that allowed Brandon Witt to get by and take over the second position.
Jack Sprague possibly having the same problems as he was backing up the rest of this field. Todd Bodine and Chad Chaffin and Johnny Benson all stuck behind the 16 of Jack Sprague, who slowed down on the restart.
Saw Steve Park on the outside. A lot of trucks right in the big wad here, right coming down the front stretch.
Sure enough, we're hearing that the 17 missed the shift. That allowed Brandon Witt to make the pass on him, take over second.
Oh, somebody makes some contact with the outside wall. Trouble down the backstretch.
They keep going around.
That's 47. 50 did a good job missing it.
Eric Almirola.
Is that Mike Skinner? Looks like Mike Skinner's got a lot of damage
on Mike Skinner. He had such a great stretch of races going here. Mike Skinner's been in the top 5 4 of the last 5 races, but he's obviously going to have to make a pit stop. You see he's got some damage to the right side, a lot of damage to the 47 truck, as you mentioned. Mike Skinner's going to have to make a pit stop for a flat right front tire.
But one thing we haven't mentioned tonight, for the first time they've run under the lights here. I mean, these are temporary lights. There's 9 trucks with these, telescopic poles, and I mean, it looks lit as good as any track with lights that are there, in
a permanent basis.
Permanent basis.
Some people asked if there might be some problems with these lights because they've never run on them before. I said these people know what they're doing. Let's see if we can take a look at what caused that accident on the backstretch. They had a big wad of trucks. We saw them on the front stretch. Let's see if we can see what happened on the backstretch. The 47 got a little bit sideways, made some contact with the outside wall. Then he came off the wall, and the 5 truck of Mike Skinner had nowhere to go, made some contact with him. That could have been a lot more serious incident with a lot more trucks involved. There you see Ted Musgrave made some contact as the 47 hit the wall, and he bounced off into the 5 truck of Mike Skinner. I think that may have been all the trucks that were involved. You see Todd Cleaver do a good job getting by on the inside.
Yeah, I think you can see Ted Musgrave was trying to get around the 2, and he didn't even realize that he checked up and just got into the back room a little bit when he got in the wall.
Well, this is a record-setting day as far as the first ever night race at Memphis Motorsports Park, and I hate to say it, but if we get one more caution, it will also tie the record for most cautions ever at Memphis Motorsports Park. This is the 11th caution of the night. Those involved, the 47 of Eric Almirola and the 5 of Mike Skinner.